Greetings, I'm Lars Olson, and I'll be your host for today's Quiet Echo. I am 72 years old, and I do not take a single pill. My doctor says I am either lucky or stubborn, and Mildred says she knows which one. I walk to work. I eat what she cooks. I am not against medicine. I am simply watching the system from the outside, and what I see does not make sense. I want to tell you about a pharmacist in Howard, Kansas. Her name is Julie Perkins. Howard is the kind of town where the pharmacist knows who just had a grandchild and who just lost a husband. Julie's pharmacy is the only one in the entire county. She told investigators 80% of her prescriptions are reimbursed below her cost. She fills them anyway, because if she does not, nobody does. Nearly 7,000 pharmacy locations have closed in the United States since 2019. An Ohio State University study reported this month nearly half the nation's counties are now pharmacy deserts, no drugstore within 10 miles. Walgreens is closing 1,200 stores. CVS closed 900. Rite Aid went bankrupt. But the closures hitting hardest are not the chains in cities. They are the independent pharmacies in small towns, the only pharmacy in the county. So, who is closing them? Not the customers. They are still walking in. Not the doctors. They are still writing prescriptions. The answer is a company most Americans have never heard of. A pharmacy benefit manager. PBM3 companies CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, and Optum Rx control roughly 80% of the prescription drug benefits market for 270 million Americans. They are the middlemen between your insurance company and your pharmacist. They decide which drugs your plan covers. They decide which pharmacy you can use. They negotiate rebates from drug manufacturers. And they set what the pharmacist gets paid for handing you the bottle. Let me say it again so it lands. They decide which drugs. They decide which pharmacy. They set the price. And the pharmacist has almost no power to negotiate. Here is where the math turns. Drug manufacturers pay PBMs a rebate, a percentage of the drug's list price, in exchange for favorable placement on the approved list. The higher the list price, the larger the rebate, the more the PBM earns. The system does not reward lower prices, it rewards higher ones. The CEO of Novo Nordisk, the company behind Ozempic, told Congress PBMs are the reason he cannot lower his list price. If he does, they drop the drug from their formularies. The price stays high because the middleman profits from the height. PBMs also practice something called spread pricing. They negotiate a low price from the manufacturer, charge the insurance company a higher price, and keep the difference. The pharmacist never sees the spread. The patient never sees it. Now here is the part I keep thinking about. CVS Caremark is owned by CVS Health, which also owns Aetna, the insurance company, and CVS Pharmacy, the drugstore. The same company decides what drugs are covered, sets the reimbursement rate for the independent pharmacist, and owns the competing pharmacy on the corner. Julie Perkins in Howard, Kansas, is negotiating her survival against her own competitor. I sell hardware. I understand supply chains. If a distributor set the price I could charge, decided which products I was allowed to stock, took a cut from both my supplier and my customer, and opened a competing store across the street, I would call it something other than a benefit manager. I would call it a racket. Senator Bernie Sanders called PBMs, and I am quoting him, as clear a middleman ripoff as you are going to find. The Federal Trade Commission accused PBMs of raising prices through conflicts of interest. In February, Congress passed reforms delinking PBM compensation in Medicare from drug prices. 6 states have filed lawsuits. This is not partisan. The left and the right agree the system is broken. But here is what concerns me most, from my side of the counter, the side where I do not take pills. This system makes more money when people take more drugs. Every prescription filled generates revenue, every refill. The system does not profit when a doctor says walk more and eat less salt. It profits when the prescription is written, filled, and repeated. I think about Aisha Khalid when I say this. She is a doctor. She would remind me, and she would be right. This is not an argument against medicine. People need insulin. People need blood pressure medication. The pills are not the problem. The problem is the company standing between the pill and the person, taking a cut from both sides, and answering to neither. I think about my neighbor Ruth, who is 81. She takes 7 medications. She does not understand why one of them costs $14 one month and $42 the next. She does not understand why her pharmacy switched her to a different brand without asking. She does not understand why her pharmacist, the one who explained every pill in plain English now, has a line 12 people deep because the other pharmacy in Millfield closed. Ruth does not know what a PBM is. She just knows the pharmacist used to have time to talk to her, and now, she does not. Cedar Valley still has its pharmacy. The pharmacist knows your name. She knows what you take. She catches the interactions your doctor misses. She is the last person in the system who looks you in the eye. And the middleman you never met is deciding whether she can keep the lights on. If you have never heard of a pharmacy benefit manager before today, you are not alone. But the next time you pick up a prescription, and the price is different from last month, or your pharmacy switches your medication without explanation, or the pharmacist who used to spend 5 minutes with you barely has time to hand you the bag, now you know who to ask about. The middleman standing between your doctor and your pharmacist, the one you never met. This is Lars Olson, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley news series written by Evan Swenson, publisher, publication consultants, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people and town are fictional, the national events they reflect on are real. The front porch is open. Readers of the Cedar Valley News are gathering on Facebook to respond to the editorial, share their own stories, and join a conversation built on respect, honesty, and no party lines. Come sit with us. I will put the link in the show notes.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.